good spaghetti sauce. Doing a roast properly. Sesame ginger. I caught these near maybe Asia, right?
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive.
I am a hunter-gatherer. I just went out hunting and I did some gatherings. Let's see what I got. Well, I went fishing and I got some kipper snacks. Yes, I'm good at catching, right? Now, I did try these sardines that they're skinned and they're boneless, which means like their tails cut off too. Yeah, but I do like these. These were $2.12. They're in water. I haven't tried them in water. I did try them in olive oil. So I got 3. So I took my net and I went down and I pulled up some sardines. Yeah, wasn't that hard? Yeah, right. Now, I did I went out deep sea and I got tuna. Yeah, it was hard to reel it in. You know, I needed some help with that. Yeah, I like the lemon pepper. Sometimes tuna comes in flavors. So I tried to get the more yellow one. And I got sesame ginger. I caught these near maybe Asia, right? I know. And then I got sun-dried tomato basil. I like those, 3 of those. So I got some fish. I went fishing. Then I found an avocado tree and I gathered these. I got 3 of them. I didn't want to take them all out of the tree, you know. Save some for later. You should only take what you know you can eat. Then I had to catch some chickens and I had to cut off their heads and feather them and put them and you know, cook it and chop it and everything. So I've been a busy hunter today. Yeah. And then, well, I had to go out and find some water. I had to go searching. And I did find a water hole and I filled up 4 gallons, okay? You know, I thought about it today as I was, here's another one. As you notice, I got a lot of protein because I also gathered a whole bunch of my friend. I had to go to her and gather grapefruit from her tree. And I think I got 1 apple left. Yeah. So, we're all hunter-gatherers, aren't we? In our time period. I thought about that today. I wanted to bring that to you. The thought of that. As I'm driving, I'm thinking, you know, if I lived in a house, I mean, it's been 7 years, but I do remember I've lived in a house for many, many years. And as the keeper of the house, not as a child, but as the keeper, I kept the home. I was the lady of the house and had children, raised them, and I had to bring stuff into my house to feed them, feed myself. And of course, water, I didn't have to go hunting for that because that was right there. But I did have a bigger space and I could fill a lot more up, you know. Now, I do have a storage. I could be filling up my storage, but I still have to go get it. And I thought of myself today. I thought, you know, being a nomad, being a van dweller full-time did remind me, in a way, I know you're going to laugh about it for you who really do fish and hunt because I don't know. I never was a fisher, but let me finish my thought here. I really did feel like I'm going out to gather some supplies. When I lived in a house, I didn't do that as much. I mean, you might do it like every week. You go out and you get your stuff and you bring it in. But being as a van dweller, you have to go out and hunt and gather a little bit more often, if not even every day. So, and I thought about it. I thought, well, what am I going to do today? There's a lot more to surviving as a van dweller. There's a lot more to organizing my day. If I was in a house, and if you're retired, let's just say you're retired, which I am. I'm semi-retired. I still work. But I wanted to organize my day. And I had written everything down because I'm getting a little behind on some things. So I wanted to make sure that all this got done today. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And it just came to my mind. Honestly, the nomad life is a little bit harder. It really is. Because you can't just sit around. You can't just sit around. Excuse me. When I lived in a home, there were days I could just sit on the couch. I could veg out when I wanted to, sit on the couch, and not go anywhere, not go out. I could not go out for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, even a week. Go out and get your stuff, bring it back in, and you really could veg out on your couch. Not healthy to do that, but I could. But I can't do that at all. I mean, I have to go park and then I have to come back. And if you're boondocking, you might be able to do that too, but that's not even possible. You're not just sitting on your couch. No, there are other things that need to be done as a nomad. Even if you're out boondocking, there just are. It's hard to explain. There's a lot more that you have to take notice of. There's a lot more mental about it too. You're constantly checking things. I'm telling you, just living in a house, it really is easier. If you have a different opinion, that's fine. You let me know what you think about that. And I know if you're living in a house, you go, well, no, I have to check on this and I have to check on that. You probably do. So this is just my view of it. This morning it hit me. There's no rest. Well, there's less rest when you're a nomad. And I'm living in my van. I have to drive here. I have to drive there. I have to go out and I have to hunt and gather more often. Make sure, now, do I have enough protein? Do I have enough veggies? What veggies am I going to use? Where am I going to go today? There's things I need to pick up. There's things that need to be gotten from my storage and just little things like that. So, tell me what you think about all of that. I'm not sure if I'm even correct on it, but I did feel it today, big time. So I'm going to make a really cool, what I normally eat. Now that I have chicken and I have an avocado, let me show you what I make for a really delicious breakfast. See, this is just a little package of all my garbage. This didn't take long to make at all, and it's really good. Now, if I would have had an onion, a sweet onion, I would have put a little bit in here, but I forgot to get an onion. I didn't find one in my gathering activity, right? Okay, so 1 piece of avocado and some chicken. So good. Well, I've got a couple minutes before I go into church, so I want to answer a couple questions. So, hope you like that meal. I ate my breakfast. It's the perfect size, the perfect flavor, and I think the best thing about the flavor is the mix of the ranch and my balsamic vinegar, which I keep in my little bag over here because it has to be stored upright. But just the avocado and the chicken, oh my gosh. And it's just the right amount. Okay, this goes with food, okay? Says, this is from Mountain Tiger, 88. Hi, Lee. Do your kids ask you to come over and prepare them a dish they enjoyed when they were younger living with you? No, they don't ask me to do that. I will say, here's reality with my past. Before my husband was in his accident, I didn't have to work as hard and as long, and I was a good cook. I learned how to cook. What I did was I got myself, I remember it was a Betty Crocker cookbook, and it wasn't the kind that was real big. It was actually, because it was cheaper, it was a really thick paperback, so it was really hard to, sometimes it was hard to do that, but I used to go through her cookbook and find things. I learned how to make good spaghetti sauce, doing a roast properly. So I learned through Betty Crocker, okay? And then as I got older and more experienced, I could kind of tweak them on my own, okay? Yeah, when it came to Betty Crocker spaghetti sauce, I actually made my own meatballs. Oh my God, I was just cooking. I was a good cook. That's where I learned to cook. Well, then after the accident, I was a single mom. And I had to work every day, and sometimes hard every day. I worked every day. So basically, I didn't have time to do a lot of cooking. At that point, my children had to eat a lot of prepared foods. Yeah, they just did. Already prepared foods. Macaroni and cheese, boxes of macaroni and cheese were big. Ramen was big with my children. Luckily, they survived it, okay? That they're healthy people. Now, my youngest, he really does like junk food. He really does. And that's because he was so small at the time. So he kind of grew up eating a lot of fast foods. Well, I don't know how fast they are. We didn't go to McDonald's, things like that. But they were already prepared foods. They were just, yeah. Okay, so then once he got a little older, and my other 3 moved out, and my youngest was still there because I was 40 when I had him. So he was sort of a late baby. He was already so used to that I started really cooking really good food. I didn't have to work as much, and I'd started school, going back to school, things like that. So I was home more, and I could fix really, and that's when I got back into cooking food again and expanding on my ability to cook and my repertoire, I should say. But by then, he really didn't like any of that stuff. He'd already been eating a lot of, So, he pretty much liked ramen. I did teach him how to eat eggs. He would eat a little broccoli, but only the little tips of the flower. I know. So anyways, so if they're going to remember, if I'm going to go make them a meal, my older three, they would ask me to make macaroni and cheese. I know. I do like a good box of macaroni and cheese because I had to enjoy it too. I remember my children telling me one time that when we would all bring groceries back, right? When we hunted and gathered and brought them back, that I remember my oldest daughter telling me one time, she goes, it seemed like we had to eat fast. Because if we wanted seconds, we had to get there first. So that gives you a clue. And a lot of families are living that way now. But when you're a single mom and you're just bringing in one paycheck, things like that, yeah, it's a reality for children. They all made it through. They're all so successful. Yeah. And myself too. But those were those times, those hard times to get through that I think builds character. They really do. And it moves you forward. My children are not slackers, whether they're Gen X or if they're millennials. They're not slackers. We work hard. You can't say that my millennials are like, oh, they get, that reward and things like that, for doing nothing. No. I got hardworking kids. I really do. And we all work together. And even in construction, we work just a little bit together because on one of the projects that I worked on was really close to where I was. And they would come over and help. Yeah, and the head project manager would slip them a little bit of money. Yeah, slip them some money, for helping. Simple things that they could do, like dumping, taking in a remodel. In an apartment and remodel, you have a lot of you're dumping a lot of you're tearing apart, and then you have to put it into the bins that are going to haul it all the way. Yeah, and they could carry it out. So. Would they ask me the original question? Would my children ask me to go over and prepare a meal? No. They're actually good cooks on their own. They really are. In fact, what they do now is they make me food. Like when I go to Ohio, my daughter, that's her kitchen. That's not my kitchen. That's not even her husband's kitchen, and he likes to cook. She's like, this is my kitchen. No, I wouldn't do that. She wants to prepare food for me, and she's going to do that when I'm in Ohio for a week because she's really good. They're all of my children are very healthy cooks. So that was a good question. Thank you for that. Okay, here's one that has to do with quartzite. I felt, this is from Claren Park Roth Road. Okay. You know who you are. I felt overwhelmed in quartzite and just had to move on. It was a bit much for me in my little car. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're in a little car, it can be overwhelming because at the height of it all, like by the second week of January to like after the first, and then let the first week of February get over. So during those 2 weeks of January and that first week of February, there's still a lot of rigs around. You're dealing with huge Class A's. Those are like they're built like buses. You got the fifth wheels. Some of those are huge. Like a Montana, they're huge. It's like, well, you're carrying a big house around. And, and there's a lot of generators and there's a lot of groups that move in during that time, like the escapees and all these, there's groups there and they all meet in quartzite. Yeah. No, and then you got the schoolies that descend on it. Here's your best bet. If you're going to want to experience the quiet solitude and beauty of quartzite, I say like the second week of December to like the first week of January. Yeah. There's where you just have a few people here and there. They kind of move in a little bit, but people don't park so close to each other yet. And you've got the quiet. You just got to find a place. Don't park near somebody with a generator, right? Yeah. Let me see if I can imitate it. It's horrible. I really don't like the generators. I understand people have to use them, but I just don't want to hear it. If I'm out there, I don't want to hear it. And I don't want to smell it. But yeah, there's your best bet. If you want to enjoy that, the beauty and the solitude and seeing some coyotes and hearing them, having a nice campfire, just maybe one or two people or just by yourself. There are different BLM land, I feel in my mind, that are a little bit safer than others. And, yeah, so sorry you had to go through that. Yeah, sometimes you just have to move on. But it's good that hopefully while you were there, you got some networking going in, right? Now, also you ask, how is your bed set up? What mattress is it? Thanks. Well, my mattress is, and I have so many new people. Thank you all. So a lot of you are still asking, where's your refrigerator? What do you cook? I want to watch you cook. How do you cook? And where's your bed? Those, like sleeping and eating, those are like, you know, the top survival things. Okay, you got to sleep, you got to eat. Well, here is my mattress. It is a -25 sleeping bag. This is rolled up and it's pushed in here. This is this my little home for my sleeping bag. It's a -25, which means it's very thick. Although it's getting older, I probably need to buy a new one where my hips go and my butt. It's probably it's kind of pounded it down after 7 years. Pounded it down a little bit. So probably need to get another one that's a little bit more poofy in that area. I've tried to put it through the dryer, but it doesn't seem to move. It's still very thin. It's getting thinner in that area where my hips go. Okay, so what I do is I pull it out and I sleep on top of it. I don't get in unless it goes like 20 degrees and below. I roll it out and it rolls out here because you've seen I have all this room. Under here are blankets and pillows. Under here, I shove it in here. It's a nice twin sheet. I use satin now because it's just so much nicer to sleep on. I use these two pillows. These are like my couch pillows, but I use these for my knees, and that's where I sleep. You know, one of you did mention, they said, well, of course, it's good to sleep on a flat surface. It is, I mean, I got padding under here. I'm so used to it. You know, you do what you get used to. That's the way it is. That's the way life works. What you're used to is what you kind of crave. It's like it's that way with foods too. Whatever you're used to eating, you end up craving those foods. If you eat a lot of sweets, you're going to crave sweets. If you eat a lot of chicken, you're going to crave chicken. If you eat a lot of avocados, you're going to crave avocados. I mean, it takes a little while to get things turned around if you want to switch it up. But that's how I sleep. And in the morning, I take everything, put everything back, fold it nicely so it fits, and then I roll up my sleeping bag. I have little ties around it to hold it, and yeah, that's it. Now, as far as, what else did you ask? Oh, well, you said what mattress it is, yeah. As far as food goes, if you ask me that, I do not have a refrigerator. I'll just be quick. I don't have a refrigerator. I don't want one. I don't like them. Okay, they take up space and they take up my energy keeping them going. I don't have an ice chest because running around getting ice is ridiculous and it takes up too much space. So what I do is I have produce. I eat fresh produce, which again, like sleeping on a flat surface, is very healthy for me. A lot of you say, Lee, you're so healthy. Well, maybe these things are making me healthy. Even when I lived in a house, I didn't sleep on this big, fat, expensive mattress. I was more of a futon person. And a lot of times I would sit on the floor like I sit now. This isn't unusual. This isn't like a new thing. No, I do a lot of yoga on the ground. I do when I was in my house. So I do, but for my protein, you saw earlier what I eat for my protein. Chicken and fish, and it's canned. I might do cheese. I might do eggs. If I go to a restaurant, I usually order eggs because I want the eggs. So, okay, everybody, I think time's up. Time's up. Okay, I did my hunting and my gathering, and then I gathered up your questions, so I'm still gathering. And I answered them for you, and I'm putting them, now I'm offering them to you. I love you guys a lot. I really love spending time with you every single day. I'm going to be going into church. I am going to make another cup of coffee. You won't see that. But a lot of you haven't seen me make coffee, so maybe tomorrow. Come back. Come back. Come back. Like Rose said on the Titanic, come back, come back. You remember that? I can't forget that. We can't forget that when she says, come back, come back. Did I do that? Am I doing good? Should I audition if they're going to do a remake of it? I could do Rose, the older Rose, right? What a great movie. Okay. So come back tomorrow, and I think I'll make coffee for you, okay? Yes. Please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to give me a gift, go to minivanlee.com. It's easy to navigate. If you can read, you can navigate it. And give me ideas. I want to get membership together. For anybody who wants to just do a regular support of me, give me suggestions what you think would be worth $5 or $10 a month to get extra just for you as a member. Bye.
Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at the beautiful stars, I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me.